say hi, everybody that's listening online. I always forget that. So everybody's in for a big treat today because we have our own Reverend Dr. Linda M. Park Fuller. That's a long name. You've always seen her around, but you didn't know how fortunately we are to have such an esteemed member of our community. She was ordained at One Spiritual Interfaith Interspiritual Seminary in New York City in 2012. She's also a co-minister with Reverend Jackie Gardner of Trinity Center of New Thought. She's a member of our board. She's been a past president, and she taught communication and theater at the university level for a long time, 37 years. She holds all kinds of degrees, a bachelor's, a master's, and a PhD. And now she lives in Tempe with her beloved sassy cat, Gypsy. With all that said, you are getting ready to hear a very interesting message today that I hope you take, and it'll help you through the week. Reverend Linda.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Sandra. This is going to be a little tricky for me because I'm going to be doing moving my papers, holding the mic, and doing these kinds of things. So I only need 3 hands, but I think it's going to work out somewhere. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad to be speaking to you here today. My topic today takes the form of a question. How awesome is your life? Now, because I'm talking to a Unity congregation, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if many of you aren't going to respond with the answer, totally awesome. Yeah? And I'm so glad to hear that. That's just wonderful. But if you're totally honest, you may also have some days when your life isn't totally awesome, when you wish it were a little bit more awesome. Some of you may be struggling with illness, injury, pain, grief, loss of a loved one, or some kind of depression. It can happen. And I think most of us have read or at least know about the Anne Lamott book, Help, Thanks, Wow, where she talks about the 3 categories of prayer that we usually pray. Either we're praying for help me, God, or we're praying thank you, God, or we're praying, wow, God. You know, that's really great. Praise prayers. And if you're in a down time, well, it wouldn't be unusual if you're praying mostly help me prayers. But that doesn't mean that you should be deprived of thanksgiving, joy, wonder, and awe in your life. These are the basis for our thanks and wow prayers. Now, Scripture gives us many examples of praise, prayers, and wow experiences. I like to read Psalms for some of the most wonderful praises. And I like to read the New Testament, where all the examples of Jesus' miracles take place. And those are certainly awesome, to say the least. And of course, Jesus said, I came so that you may have life and have it more abundantly. So that's quite an awesome promise. But all that is from biblical times. And what about now? Now, some people might think that awesome events are reserved for those very occasional times, like seeing your child walk for the first time, or seeing a total eclipse of the sun. You take a long trip in order to see this total eclipse of the sun. But science is discovering that awe happens more frequently than that. Dr. Dr. Keltner from the University of California, Berkeley, has written a book that's titled The New Science of Everyday Wonder and Awe, and How It Can Transform Your Life. Now, he recommends that coming to an awareness of awe in our lives benefits our mental health. Now, what is awe? Well, we know the symptoms, don't we? The physical experience of awe. Kent was telling me just this morning about that. We may have a sudden intake of breath. Oh, oh. Or your eyes might water when you experience awe. You might have tears, or goosebumps, or even chills. Kent told me he had chills at a phrase that he heard. Do you want to tell me that phrase again, Kent?
Show me what's best for me.
Show me what's best for me. A spiritual phrase, indeed. Yeah. He said he got chills at that. And that's everyday awe. Well, Keltner found that these kinds of awe experiences provide benefits to us. And some of those benefits are physical. Awe activates the vagus nerve, controls stress, fears, and fights depression. So if you allow yourself to have awesome experiences, that's one of the things it can do for your body. It slows your heart rate. It relieves digestion and deepens breathing, all things that are wonderful physically for us. But there's more. It also provides psychological and sociological benefits, like they did studies with a bunch of people who gave them awesome experiences, or those who allowed themselves to have awesome experiences, found that it deactivates negative self-talk. So people weren't as apt to say, well, that was a stupid thing to do, Linda, or those kinds of things that we tell ourselves, or why do you keep making those mistakes, something like that. No, cuts that out, which is great. It transforms self-image from isolated to integrated into a group, so that people begin to feel more like belonging, part of a whole. And it transforms thinking from self-interest, what's it got to for me, to collective interest. How does this help us, and how can we help others? So all of those social benefits can be gained. It can transform our lives. So you can see then that it would do us all good to experience more awe in our lives. But some people might say, well, great, but I just don't see much to be awed about. As Unity students and practitioners, though, we know that we can cultivate more awe in our lives. We know that what we pay attention to grows. Right. So that as we begin to see and pay attention to things that are awesome in our everyday life, more awesome things will happen. Now, of course, it is our responsibility to co-create with God, right? We can't just sit on the couch and listen to the same old TV programs that we've watched 100 times, someone says, hey, there's a supermoon tonight. Let's go out and look at that full moon that's also a supermoon. We can't say, oh, I've seen full moons before. I don't care about full moon, because this one might knock your socks off, right? So we have to make that effort. When we're driving through the mountains and there's a sign that says scenic overlook, yeah, we can take it or we can't. We don't have to. It's a choice. And if we don't, well, we miss an awesome experience. We have the opportunity to have more awe in our life. Now, granted, sometimes we just don't have time, but it's a good thing to be aware of, that I can cultivate more awe in my life. Okay, so where do the scientists see these awesome events happening in everyday life? What moments? They went throughout the world, asked people, what moments gave you awe experiences? And here are some of the categories that they found. One common category was acts of moral beauty. In other words, these were things that other people did that really, really impressed people. For example, unexpected moral acts where someone, a stranger, jumped into a canal and saved a drowning child, or dog, for that matter. They put their lives in danger in order to save someone else's. That can be pretty awesome. Or they interrupted a crime to help a victim. Maybe they did something else like that was unusual and did it to help someone. Or an act of kindness. This could be someone stepping in and saying, hey, I'll pay for that. Maybe it's someone's medical payments. Maybe it's not as much as medical payments, but maybe it's something like, I'll pay for your dinner. I'll pay for whatever. It's unexpected kindnesses. And these things were awe-creating experiences for people. Overcoming obstacles. An example they gave was a father whose daughter was born with a club foot. And some years later, with much overcoming work, he saw her dance in a ballet. Oh, and that definitely brought tears to his eye, to think she had come so far, right? Or it might be unusual talent and ability. When you see a musician or a sports performer do something that you think is absolutely impossible, how can they do that? It's so exceptional. These were awesome experiences for people. Another category, along with acts of moral beauty, was nature. Nature. Now, it's hot out there right now. And many of us aren't going on a lot of hikes in the valley, right? Unless you get up way early in the morning, which we can do, right? Yeah. But we can always drive. We get in our air-conditioned cars. We are so fortunate in this state, aren't we? I mean, you think about how close we are to so many natural wonders. We're so close to the Grand Canyon, for example. But we don't have to drive to the Grand Canyon to have awesome experiences. Here's just a picture of a canyon. But I was thinking sometimes if you just go up the Superstitions, just go up the Usery Mountains, as you get a little bit cooler air and you see some beautiful, beautiful scenery. It's really true. But you don't even have to drive to see some wonderful things and awesome things. It can be in your neighbor's yard. It's pretty amazing what people come up with to create beauty. And always just, knocks my socks off. Whoa, what did they do? Here, those pretty little puppy and kitty to hold the flowers for nature. It can be right there. Or it could be your own pet if you have pets, or the neighbor's pet. Watch a little kitty, my cat, just twitching its tail a little bit as it lies out on the cement in the morning, and it just looking at all the birds and chattering at them is awesome to me. And I'm sure it is to you for those wonderful animals. But we don't have, and we also have hummingbirds. Those are pretty amazing, right? But this might be a more exotic. I just have pictures that are free off the internet. But, we think about what's there for me to capture. But even if we're left in our homes and we can't get out, there are videos of nature. Now, I'm a big PBS nature fan. Do you watch it? Anybody else watches it? Yeah? I don't know. It's always so wonderful. You can see wonderful wildlife pictures and wonderful pictures of scenic areas. The photography in it is fabulous. And they do such a good job with it. Also, there are videos like Our Planet and Our Planet 2 and Our Green Planet that David Attenborough narrates that are just fabulous. I just love these. And it allows you to get up close and personal with these beautiful, gentle giants that you would never see in close range, or I wouldn't in my life anyway, very likely. Look at that Arctic fox, and look at those eyes. These are just pictures, but so beautiful. That deer is ready to take off any moment, isn't it? And so pretty. And I love this lion who is caring for his cub, and those eyes tell us, don't you get too close to my cub, because I won't let you endanger that child at all, right? So beautiful. So beautiful. This wonderful creature was on Nature last week on a show called Octopus Making Contact. And they look a little strange, but they are so smart. They have brains in their arms, and they have 3 hearts. They can use tools. Their eyes will follow you, your eyes. They can differentiate between people. They know who are their friends and who are their foes. Yeah, they're just amazing creatures. I think it's so fabulous that we can see these videos of such creatures. Another category besides nature and moral acts is collective effervescence. Now, that's not the bubbles that you find in champagne or in soda pop, but the bubbles of people when we get together. And I know you experience this because we experience it here in worship service. When our favorite video comes on, it's a song that we love, and we're all moving and shaking and feeling elated at something that's going on, that just everyone is up and enjoying it so much. It's a very bubbly collective feeling. And it doesn't necessarily just happen in church. It can happen at a concert. You may have been to a concert when you felt that awesome experience. It can happen at a sports event. You know, your team is winning and everybody's grooving and everybody's singing a song. It can happen at a religious event, like I said. It can happen at ecstatic dances. SWIHA, Southwest Institute for Healing Arts, used to hold ecstatic dances, not exotic, ecstatic dances. And we would go, my husband and I would go and just dance to drums and cymbals, and it was so fun. They maybe still do, I don't know. Political rallies can also produce that awe-inspiring feeling of elation and oneness together. Bubbles. Spiritual experience, well, we talked about that in a collective way. But you know, you can have those spiritual experiences solo. You can have an awesome experience, right? When you are just sitting. You can have that when you are in prayer. How many of you have been sitting in prayer and all of a sudden you just feel so close to Spirit? It's almost overwhelming. Yeah. You can have it in times of meditation. It can occur in ceremony. That's going on, or it can just hit you out of the blue. That happened to me in Chicago on the L, the elevated train. I was, it was after I had the year from hell, that I call my year from hell, when I had cancer and chemo, and then our house burned down. And I was going through all of that. And then a few months later, I got on sabbatical and I was traveling to Chicago, doing research and interviewing people, meeting people, seeing new things. And I was riding the L back from downtown Chicago, I think it was at a theater or something, back to Evanston, where I was staying, had rooms. And there was a big red ball of the sun was in the sky. And as I was riding, I was just feeling so grateful, thinking, my gosh, just think what has changed since those months ago when we were struggling so much. And all of a sudden, I felt Spirit was with me so strong, intensely, and so overwhelming that I wanted to fall on my knees. And I don't pray on my knees. I don't fall on my knees. But I wanted to, and I didn't, because I thought people in the train would think I was pretty crazy. But it was an amazing experience that lasted for quite a long time. So it can hit you at any time, as I know you know. We can cultivate these. Another example is personal epiphanies. Now, we have Church of the Epiphany over here, but that refers more specifically to the day that Jesus was born and then the Magi came, the day of the Epiphany. We're talking here about those times that are I got it times. Those moments when we think, oh my gosh, I've been working on this problem for ages and I can't get it. I've analyzed it. I've worked on it from so many different angles. And all of a sudden, whoa, it comes together in a flash, right? And it's all there, right? Or it might be, the example they gave in the definition was, a couple are fighting, man and wife are fighting, and they've made a habit of this. And all of a sudden, one of them realizes, in the midst of the argument, one of them realizes, I'm the person that's causing this. And they make amends, and they don't do that anymore. These epiphanies can be life-changing sometimes. They can be awesome events. Now, I don't know what happened to this slide, but it's a sudden perception of an essential nature or meaning of something, a flash, a time, a moment when you think, I got it. I got it. Just happened. Life transitions can be awesome. Many of you have experienced awe, I'm sure, at a birth. I have never seen live birth. I don't know how that happens, but I didn't give birth, and so I don't know. I haven't even seen an animal birth except on television. But I understand that can be just totally awesome experience. I have been present at deaths, and that can be awesome. It can be traumatic, but it can be totally amazing as well. Yeah. Another category that they have for us to be aware of is visual art and design. Now, we have many, many art museums and galleries that we can go to. Again, getting off of our couches and go out. They're available to us all the time. We have different, probably, preferences in art, but wow, there's so much out there. Some people might not like that, but to me, wow, what an explosion of color. It just kind of blows my mind. And again, this is just a picture of a painting, but I think if I could be there in the gallery, it would be quite something. This painting sort of reminds me of motion. It's a two-dimensional picture, but I think it's waves or it's clouds or something. But it moves for me. And art does that to a person. It just is so much like that. This is more traditional art. But you know, you don't have to go to a museum. You can hang clear crystal in your window, and when the sun hits it on certain days or times of days, you'll have rainbows all over your room, and that can be pretty awesome when that happens as well. Design will work too. Look at that cathedral. Ooh, wouldn't that be wonderful to be standing there in that cathedral? Amazing. The last, quotations. They didn't include that one, but I think I can read a poem and be awed by it, or just a phrase, like Kent's phrase. This one came up. I woke up this morning. How do I say thank you? Yeah. Or this one. Faith and fear both demand that you believe in something you cannot see. You choose. Let's say it again. Say it with me. Faith and fear both demand that you believe in something you cannot see. You choose. Yeah. The first one is anonymous. This one is by Bob Proctor. And then the last category they have is music. And it doesn't matter if it's classical music, if it's hip-hop, if it's rhythm and blues, it's rock, country, whatever you like. Music can hit you, can't it? And it can be just wonderful. Well, I am going to share with you a song that I think is awesome. It's called I Need You to Survive, and it is performed and written by Bishop Hezekiah Walker, who's a Pentecostal preacher in Brooklyn. And this was performed at my graduation in One Spirit. And it is a gospel song. It is indeed. It's a long song. But my seminarians put it to gestures to it. And we performed it that way, and I brought those gestures back, and we did it at Trinity Center, and it's a lot of fun. If you want to stand up and do the gestures with me or sing it with me, that would be wonderful. Some of the gestures I will teach you first because they are, you'll pick them up. This is, and I'll use both hands, need. And I need you to survive is need you to survive. Got that? Okay, so the rest of it is pretty easy. The second verse particularly is easy. This is all about oneness. I need you. You need me. This is where we are. Okay. Hit it, Joe. And bring up the volume. Bring up the volume. This is an awesome.
Everybody look at somebody and tell them, I need you.
I need you.
You need me.
You need me.
We're all a part.
We're all a part of God's body.
Stand with me.
Stand with.
Look at somebody, tell them, agree with me.
Agree with me.
We're all a part.
We're all a part of God's body.
It is His will.
It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive.
Tell your neighbor.
You are important to me. I need you to survive.
This is beautiful, you all. Let's do it one more time. Come on, open your mouth and say, I need you.
I need you.
Let me hear you. You need me.
You need me.
For we're all.
We're all a part of God's body.
Stand with me.
Stand with me.
Agree with me.
Agree with me. We're all a part of God's body.
It is His will.
It is His will that every need be supplied.
pray for you.
I pray for you. You pray for me. I love,
Come on, y'all.
I need you to.
Hold somebody hand and tell them, come on.
I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love, I need you to.
Look at somebody say, I pray for you.
I pray for you.
You pray for me.
You pray for me. I love you. I need you to survive.
Won't harm you
I won't harm
with
you
words from my mouth.
with words from my mouth.
I love you.
I love,
I need you to survive.
I need you to
Come on. I
survive.
pray for you.
I pray for you.
Come on. You pray for me.
Pray for me.
I love you.
I love,
I need you to
I
survive.
need you to.
Point at somebody and tell them I won't harm you.
I won't harm
Come on, y'all.
with words from my mouth.
I love you, Stacey.
I love,
I need you to
I
survive.
need you
Let's take it up, everybody.
to survive. I pray for you.
You pray for me.
You pray for me.
I love you.
I love, I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth.
I love you.
I love,
Let's take it up one more time. Come on, get up. Get up on your feet and say, come on, I'll pray for you.
pray for you.
Look at somebody and tell them,
Pray for me. I love, I need you to survive.
I won't harm you
I won't harm
with
you
words from my mouth.
with words from my mouth.
I need you. I need you. Let's go without no music. I want to hear the word. Come on.
I pray for you.
Y'all ain't saying it.
You pray for me.
I love you.
I love,
Tell somebody.
I need you to survive.
I won't harm you
Harm
with words from my mouth.
with words from my mouth. I love, I need you to survive.
I pray for you. You pray for me.
Pray for me. I love, I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth.
I love you.
I love, I need
It is His will.
survive. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive.
I hope you enjoyed that. I think it's just an awesome, awesome song. And so, as I say, we have all kinds of opportunities. Is this on? Yeah. We have all kinds of opportunities to be awed. And let's close with a prayer. Beloved Spirit, Father, Mother God, thank you for this awesome life. And thank you for this community that brings us awe and joy. Amen.